Hello, my name is Andrew Kirkpatrick, and I'm doing a presentation on a topic that has fascinated me for years as an alternative to time travel. Would it be possible to, instead of going back in time to change history, to just open a window in time so we can view that historical event and learn from it rather than going back and trying to change history? As much as we'd love to change things in the past, maybe those things were meant to happen. And I'll raise some of the concerns with time travel and windows in time further in the presentation, so I hope you enjoy. Thank you. So why windows in time? When I was younger, I loved watching Ninja Turtles and Batman and all that, so I wondered if I had a superpower, what would I want? And I decided that it would be really cool if I could open a window in time to look into the past. And I really always loved history. It was my favorite subject in high school. I have a bachelor's degree in history and a bachelor's degree in art history. And I just think it would have been a really cool power to have, to look into the past and see how things were done, and instead of having theories, we could put certain matters to rest. And that's how I came up with this idea many years ago. So how would all this work? To be honest, I have no idea. I'm not a physicist, so hopefully a physicist or a mathematician, someone more qualified and a lot smarter than me, will pick this up, but I'm not really sure how opening a window in time would work. Would we have to create a small hole in the space-time fabric of the universe? Just reviewing? I'm not quite sure how it would work. I just envisioned, having a screen and popping up any event in history that you wanted to bring up and just having it play on a screen. Again, I have no idea about the mechanics involved, sorry. But hopefully we could do it in a way that doesn't tear the fabric of space-time and do harm to the fabric of our universe. But again, I'm not a mathematician and I'm not a physicist, so I'm not really sure how this would work. So hopefully someone could figure that part out. And good luck on that one. So what are the advantages of opening a window in time and viewing history rather than going back in time in an actual manner where someone actually goes back in time? One advantage is no history would be changed, and we wouldn't have to worry about the consequences of changing a certain act in history. For example, if I were to go back and assassinate Adolf Hitler, the Holocaust would be prevented. But would the nation of Israel be created in 1948, or would it have been created many, many years later, like the 1970s, 1990s? Opening a window in time wouldn't bring this into question. The other thing is, we don't have to worry about the multiple timelines paradox. If I go back and kill Hitler, would that change this timeline that we're living in now, or would that create an alternate timeline where in that universe or timeline Hitler's dead and World War II doesn't happen, but when I come back to my timeline, Hitler was never killed, and World War II and the Holocaust unfortunately still happened. With a window in time, you don't have this paradox. You're just viewing history, you're not changing it. So that could be seen as an ethical advantage because you're allowing history to play out. You're not trying to change anything that happened. for better or for ill. So as advantageous, as a window in time would be, what are the concerns that would be created if anyone could open a window in time? One, I would say personal privacy. Not to be perverted, but if I called you on the phone and I got your voicemail and left you a message, you called me back and said, "Sorry, Andy, I was in the shower, I couldn't talk to you at that time." What's to stop me from opening a window in time and watching you take a shower, or getting dressed, or spending time with your kids? So that's one major ethical concern. The other concern is, if the government and law enforcement had this technology, how would they use it? If someone committed a murder and I, as a law enforcement officer, which I'm not, but for this example I would be, could I, as a law enforcement officer, open a window in time and look for evidence that I have not found yet? How much of that, if any, would be admissible? And would this technology or ability, whatever it would it be misused and mishandled by governments to spy on its own citizens? Um, so obviously, if we ever had this ability just to view history, uh, we'd have to create laws and make sure that the government would be following those laws, and make sure that private citizens were doing the same. Uh, because again, there are things in our lives that are very private, and we don't want anyone to know. So if anyone can open a window in time, there's a lot of privacy issues. So again, if it were to be able to be done, who should be allowed to do it? Should it be limited to art historians, archaeologists, scientists, and people of that nature? Should you have a certain type of clearance in order to gain access to this ability? I mean, those are some very good questions that I'm not really qualified to answer, but those are the concerns that I would raise. So in conclusion, I just like to say thank you for your time. This is an idea I've had kicking around in my big forehead, or big head overall, for many years now. And we've all heard theories of time travel, what could be done, what couldn't be done. So I'm wondering if we should put the brakes on that and just focus on a window in time. And I'm wondering if people a lot smarter than me, more qualified than me, could figure all this out, whether it is feasible or not. And if it were feasible, what are the ramifications? So I hope you got something very educational out of this. And if you are a physicist or some type of scientist or philosopher and you want to leave some feedback, I would very much welcome that and appreciate it. Again, thank you for your time, and please keep safe.